facilitators, in order to pull this off and plan a whole day full of activities, you need attractive materials to replace tech. Because remember, your child with a device, potentially in this virtual autism group of folks, had hours and hours a day where they were just with the device and scanning through, watching videos, swiping through the likes, shifting between applications, playing with, Roblox and all the mini games, whatever they were doing, right? They were filling hours and hours and hours of their time, and they were content with whatever they saw on the screen. In order to pull them out of that highly attractive activity, you have to have some nice things to show your child. And the good news is they don't even know how good these 3D experiences can be. Because you grew up in a time when you didn't have phones. You have to go back to your childhood and think about what it was that you did to fill your time. Remember, that's why the videos came first, was to fill time. So your late talker needs you to use attractive materials and experiences. So we see the scooter, we see the bubbles, we see the paint, we see the outside playing in the mud, sitting in the water, whatever you have to do, because late talkers, they need something super attractive to choose you over tech, okay? And this is what is involved. Materials that inspire curiosity, creativity, and learning. And it doesn't necessarily have to be stuff that you buy on Amazon or Temu or at the local toy store. Every single day, you use tools that solve problems and make life easier. The rice cooker, the microwave, the mat outside that collects the dirt so you don't have to clean the house too much, the broom you use to clean up the dirt that the shoes drug in the house. All of these tools are materials that inspire curiosity, creativity, and learning. And then the next category of things that you need is materials to practice and expand your child's interests. So again, if they like to walk, they like to go outside, they like to travel and go places, teaching them to ride a bicycle is an amazing tool that will help them practice and expand their interests. If they love space, you find things that are space related. If they love ABCs and numbers, you give them phonics things to practice and ways to expand. Just A is for apple, or A says to how to build words and make sentences and spell their name. Practice and expand their interests and abilities no matter what they are. As long as, remember, we are in a cooperative situation. Number 3, this is toys and equipment needed for new experiences. So if your child is going to school, they need new backpack and back to school clothes and clothes that they only wear for special occasions, dress up dresses or costumes that you wear for weddings and special dress up clothes. Even when you go traveling, you need to get equipment, sun hats to wear to the beach, and sunscreen and goggles for the pool, and all of these things that you never did before. But we need to get equipment, and you can talk about the acquisition of this equipment, the use. We're going to talk about how to use it, but this is what's involved. And then you also need novel items that entertain, surprise, and inspire curiosity. Okay, so this is where you're gonna have to come up with things that will get them out of screens. Remember, things that make their life easy and help them get what they want, tick. Things that help them expand what they love, tick. Things that are, inspire them to go to new places and new learn things, tick. And novel items, surprise things, toys, giggle things that are silly or disgusting or whatever that you see, and you check it out and learn about. When for example, we were at the aquarium and they had egg casings from baby sharks where they had a light shining through and you can actually see the baby shark moving in there. And that was a really cool tool, right? Just this egg casing with the light in this tank that we could see the baby shark moving in the egg casing was super cool. And these tools help us learn. Aquariums, these are places where, how do they keep these animals in there? How do they feed them? They use a long stick, describing how tools are used in things when you go visit places. How do they feed these animals, lions and tigers? What do they feed them with? How do they protect themselves? When you go to the beach, even to see, like, oh no, why is the red flag flying? Because there's, algae in the water, or the surf is too high and we can't go in the water right now, or dangerous animals have been spotted, or something like that. Learning and following and curiosity things. You're going to hear the siren. That's a new tool. Storm sirens that we hear in the United States through the Midwest, they've been going off like crazy because they're tools for us to make actions and respond, keep us safe, keep us happy. This is what I'm talking about when we talk about tools. And instead of just guiding your child through things, you're going to teach them how to use these tools. It gives you something to talk about and teach that's easy because it applies to all these functional situations. So here is why they need these attractive tools. We already talked about this, but this is how you're going to find ones that are attractive. Number one, personal items that match their preferences. If they like pink or blue or red or superheroes or, sparkle, whatever, this or that, then you get them personal items, pajamas, bed sheets, toothbrushes, things like that. I would avoid books and videos, but toys, that they could pretend play with, that's fine. You just don't want them to replace 2D experience with 2D experience. These are 3D things. The shirt you wear that has Peppa Pig or princesses on it or whatever. And then number two is the tools that you have and use already every day in your home. Like we talked about, the rice cookers and the things that you already have to make life easier. This is what really, like I said, it's a tick for them. They like making life easier. Kids do. These are super smart kids, and they can learn to use helpful tools very quickly. The wash machine, the garden hose, right? They learn exactly how it works and how to follow rules because they want to do these things more. They want to learn from them, and they want to learn how to use them properly. And then there's these tools that help regulate or solve a problem. And this can be anywhere from your wiggle seat for the child to be able to sit in, the sensory toys they need, your squishies, your chewing, all those things. That's regulation. These are tools that you need to help your child regulate. The swings, they could be tools or opportunities, right? But remember, it's replacing. Your child's been regulated, getting their dopamine hit from a screen. How are you going to get them to have a dopamine hit? Where are you going to let them jump or run or get excited about something, get those surprise toys, those cause and effect things, teach them how to use the ruler that sticks out and you let it go and it retracts in, how all those things work in the world. That's functional ways to teach these things. And it's necessary, right? And it's got to be so attractive that they're interested to explore it instead of watching a video, right? You don't even need to use videos. Just teach these things because they're things that you know, right? And solve a problem is, what do we do because your new, your shirt with, or let's say your underwear, right? You've got underwear that you've got with special characters on that you're using as an incentive to potty train. And oh no, there's an accident and they get dirty. How are we going to clean them? We've got to put them in the wash machine. These are tools that make life, oh no, it's not the end of the world if something breaks. We got these tools to fix it. This is really important language for your late talkers, to keep them talk about how the tool helps them regulate, talk about how the tool helps them solve a problem, okay? And these materials that promise a fun or exciting experience, even if you just show them the brochure from the aquarium where you're going to be going, I know that's a 2D experience, but these are materials that they can read about and learn about. Or if you watch a travel video about somebody who's, visiting the aquarium before you go, and so you can point out and make your plan together. Oh, look, there's sharks. We're going to see the sharks. Oh, look, there's this. I do that myself before I visit a place to see if there's enough things there that are going to interest me to spend the money on the admission ticket. If you've done the same, do it together with the late talker, because remember, you've got to prove that this place you're going to take them, this toy you're going to buy them, this thing that you're going to offer them is valuable. Now, it's really important the next slide we talk about, because once you get these attractive things, these late talkers could want to take them and run and play with them by themselves. So you really need to pay attention to these strategies to incorporate materials successfully. How are you going to introduce and incorporate these super fun and useful things so the late talker doesn't say, oh, I see, it's a rice cooker, I'm going to figure out my way to do it. I'm going to take this beautiful toy and go play by myself in the rules. Remember, the idea is to keep these things cooperative so that you can use these tools and experiences to teach language so that your child is staying there, listening to you teach them, watching you learn. You're watching them, you're coaching them while they're doing it, and all the while they're listening to you provide language models that they can learn from, functional language models. Okay, so this is how it works. You introduce all materials with the rules and boundaries around them. This is a new cookie we're going to have. We can each have one. This is the power tools. Like, I use the sharp knives, you use the dull knives. I'll cut it, you scoop it, all of that kind of thing. This is what we're going to do. We're going to use these tools, but this is how it's going to go down. Because of safety, we're going to teach about that too. But remember, this is how we do it. You can use it for this much time. You can use it for this much effort. This, you're going to have to push really hard when you do this because, it's a thick putty and we've got to squeeze it, use all your muscles. All the rules and boundaries around why and how they can have access to this thing. And number two, then you're explaining, how is this tool solving a problem? How is it keeping you regulated? How is it keeping you busy? How is it entertaining you? How is it fixing it? How is it cleaning it? How is it, whatever. And then you're going to allow the child to choose. And this is before you give them access, right? Look, this is the thing we need to clean up this mess. Let me show you how to do it. And then let them choose and use their own materials with physical guidance. You take the broom, you take the toothbrush, grab your toothbrush. I'm going to grab mine, you grab yours. And if they choose the wrong one or choose one that isn't, you let them try that thing and see how it fails. Trial and error, because you're letting them choose their own, because maybe you don't believe they're going to make a good choice. That means you didn't explain properly the guidelines and rules around this thing. You said, you can have a choice of these 2 shirts. You can have a choice of these 5 spoons. You can have a choice of these 2 snacks. You don't make it unlimited choice. You structure and boundaries around anything you give them, but whatever they can, you allow them to choose. And then you teach the rules and safety guidelines. Anything risky, that comes at the beginning. You don't not give your child the risky thing because you're afraid they're going to hurt. And you don't also just tell them that, this is, I have to use this and you just have to watch me, right? If you want to teach them, you teach them how to use things safely. Uh-oh, hang on a second. Got to slide up here. So, yeah. All right. So this is, again, how we're going to take care of all that. Now, this is the level where you're going to see how well the late talker is following directions and understanding and able to take, because remember, they have to be connected. And then when they're connected, they're going to take and use the information that you're teaching them. How does this life work? Okay. And you'll see if your child is not connecting to teach you how to do, they always want to take the thing and run away. Then you see their connection is below the line. And it could be because of the strategies that they're using and you're using, right? Remember, this is how you're going to see how well they're understanding. If they're below the line, they're just like aware you're in the room, but they're not focused enough to learn anything. They're just smiling and looking at you and not interested in picking it up and trying it for themselves. But with joint attention and first listening, at least they're looking at the same thing you're looking at, but they're still dependent on you to do everything. It's just prompt dependent. They're just watching. This is why kids go to the playground and they don't engage with other kids, because their comprehension of language, they can't answer all these questions and do all this stuff. They're just beginning to listen and learn and memorize the vocabulary they like. And then when they get to teaching and discernment, that's when they understand what you're saying, but they're testing you or manipulating you because you're testing them or manipulating them. This is parents that are stuck in prompt dependence and prompt avoidance at level 3. And then once you get to level 4, they're following directions, they're obeying rules, they're sticking with your boundaries and all of that stuff. And all the strategies I just gave you are the strategies you'll use to pull your child's level of attention, focus, and listening, right, to the level where their functional spoken language understanding moves above this fight or flight testing discern, they're, I'm not sure I like what you're saying, it's not for me, no thank you, again, puts them in detachment. And that's why the line is here, because when the child is in their own mind, still trying to figure out what the heck is going on because there's not somebody explaining to them, they're going to be stuck below the line. And so that's what we want for you, is to move past all of that.